They said she was unadoptable. Not aggressive, not sick, just different in a way people couldn't quite look past. Both of her eyes carried a soft, cloudy haze, a milky, frosted quality that made her gaze look like she was always peering through morning fog. She could see, just not the way other cats could. Shapes, light, movement sometimes, the world as a gentle blur rather than a sharp picture. The shelter staff had a name for her before she even arrived on the intake form. They called her Haze because of those eyes, both of them, that same quiet cloudiness like two small moons caught behind thin clouds. She was sitting perfectly upright in the dim corner of her kennel, dark striped coat, brown and black tabby markings rippling across her fur like shadows on moving water, and those eyes, both of them, that soft, cloudy stillness, like two small moons caught behind thin clouds. She was looking toward Sarah. Somehow, despite everything, it felt like the most direct look anyone had given her in months. If you've ever been looked at and immediately looked past, if you've ever felt like someone made their decision about you before you even had a chance to show them who you really were, then you need to stay with me right now, because what happened to Haze after 11 months in that shelter corner is something I still can't tell without feeling it in my chest. Hit subscribe, because this one is going to stay with you long after it's over. The woman who walked through that shelter door on a gray Thursday afternoon wasn't planning to adopt a cat. Sarah had come to drop off a donation, some food, a few blankets she'd gathered from neighbors, small apartment, demanding job, which she called a completely reasonable amount of emotional chaos in her life. A cat was nowhere in the plan. But plans have a way of falling apart at exactly the right moment. She was heading toward the exit, donation dropped off, coat already back on, when she heard it. Not a meow, something smaller than that. A soft, questioning trill from the last kennel on the left, the one tucked in the corner, slightly apart from the others, like it had been placed there as an afterthought. Sarah stopped. Haze was sitting perfectly upright in the dim corner of her kennel, dark striped coat, brown and black tabby markings rippling across her fur like shadows on moving water. And those eyes, both of them, that soft, cloudy stillness like two small moons caught behind thin clouds. She was looking toward Sarah. Somehow, despite everything, it felt like the most direct look anyone had given her in months. "This one's been here almost a year," the volunteer said quietly, stepping up beside her. "She has partial vision impairment in both eyes, congenital. She navigates surprisingly well, but..." A small pause. "People see the eyes and they get nervous. They worry about the extra care." Sarah didn't say anything. She just looked at Haze. And Haze, those two clouded, fog-soft eyes turned toward her, bumped her head gently against the kennel door. Slow, deliberate, patient the way only animals who have learned to wait a very long time can be patient. Like she was saying, "I know what you're thinking. Look anyway." Sarah filled out the adoption paperwork 18 minutes later. The drive home was quiet. Haze sat in the carrier in the passenger seat without a sound. No crying, no panic, just that same still, watchful presence. Sarah kept glancing over at her, those cloudy eyes catching the passing highway lights and scattering them softly, like light through sea glass. The first night, Sarah set up a corner with a bed, a water bowl, a few soft toys. She sat on the floor nearby and just waited. She'd read that was the right thing to do. Give them space, let them come to you. Haze came out of the carrier slowly and carefully. She moved along the baseboards, mapping the room with her whiskers and her nose, the way animals do when they've learned that the world sometimes has edges they can't see coming. She found her water bowl, she found the window, she found the patch of lamplight on the floor. And then she found Sarah. She walked straight to her, those hazy eyes sweeping gently across Sarah's face, and pressed her entire body against Sarah's side and began to purr. Not tentative, not testing, a full, deep, rolling purr that said, "I have been waiting for exactly this," without a single word. Sarah sat on the floor of her apartment and cried. She's not embarrassed about it. She cried for 11 months of a cat sitting in a corner kennel while the doorbell jingled and people walked past. She cried for every volunteer who had said, "She's so sweet, she just has a little," and watched someone move on anyway. And maybe, just a little, she cried for every version of herself that had ever felt like the thing people skipped on their way to something easier. That was 8 months ago. Today, Haze owns that apartment completely. She has claimed the window ledge as her personal kingdom, spending long afternoons turned toward the glass, tracking the blur of pigeons, the movement of cars, the shifting light across the floor. What she can't see in sharp detail, she reads in other ways. The vibration of footsteps, the warmth of sunlight moving, the sound of Sarah's keys in the door from 3 rooms away. She still has those clouded eyes, both of them, that same soft haze that made 11 months of people walk past without stopping. She always will. And they are, without question, one of the most beautiful things Sarah has ever seen. But here's what keeps Sarah up some nights. Haze was in that shelter for 11 months. 11 months of the front door opening and closing. 11 months of other cats going home while she sat in that corner kennel, patient as only something that has learned real waiting can be. If Sarah hadn't heard that small trill, if she'd already been 2 steps further toward the exit, if the timing had been off by 30 seconds, what would have happened to her? The shelters are full of animals like Haze right now. A cloudy eye, a missing limb, a nervous system that works a little differently than the one people expect. Animals that good volunteers describe with that carefully gentle voice. "She's wonderful, she just has a little," and watch get passed over again and again. They are not broken. They are not less. They are just waiting for someone to stop moving long enough to really look. So here's what I need you to sit with before you scroll away. If you had walked into that shelter and seen Haze in that corner, that dark striped tabby, those 2 soft clouded eyes turned toward you, that one quiet trill, would you have stopped? Or would you have kept walking towards something easier? If any part of her story felt familiar, if you've ever fallen for the one everybody else kept passing by, leave a comment and tell me about them. I would genuinely love to hear it.